Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a gold HItscan player. I think we're going to see some Ash, McCree, Tracer. I think we'll even see some Hanzo, who technically isn't HItscan, but you know, Hanzo scan. Close enough.
It is rare that I meet one.
If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events there are, all that good stuff.
Hands up, pencils down.
Okay. Looking for an opening shot, sure.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Hey, Mazumato X. Not really trying for headshots there. So that probably should have been a regular shot, a hipfire shot. Yeah, let's see if we set correctly. No, we're not. Do I have a free slot today? Yeah, probably. Let me check. Yeah, I could do right after this one. I could do right after this one, or I could do one at 6 p.m. Pacific. Okay, let's go back to a review here. Boom. Okay. I don't know if you remember, I was the Gold Moira that you VOD reviewed a while ago, 2111 SR. Just want to say I now reached Plat after your review. It really helped. Excellent! I'm thrilled to hear that, Mazumoto X. That's really, really good. Nice. Right after this one. Yep. Sounds good, Gamebuster. Okay, so I can live with the TNT. Now you're trying Fred shots. You just heard a Tracer foot. You just heard footsteps and you didn't react. There you go. You have plenty of ammo. You have plenty of ammo, so you want to swing, and you actually want to go for one regular shot before you go for your shift here. Like, there's no reason that you can't hit a regular hip-fire shot on this Tracer, or at least try for a single one before you sort of go for the next one. Before you go up, I've got a mandatory very minor delay between shots, but hey, I'm going to immediately override that with my shift. That works.
You need to learn. Somebody get me some
good.
healing.
I'd have probably recommended changing your angle rather than re-peeking this. Like, the Harmony Orb was going to stay on you for 3 seconds, even if you walked over to here and then took this new angle, and you were less likely to get pressured. Or you could rotate up over to here and see, hey, is there anything from here? But this probably would have been better. All good.
Here it comes.
Everyone heal up.
WTP is want to buy. Yeah.
Enemy contact.
Helden sterben nicht.
Oh, Malik is here as well. Hey, Maliki. And blah. That's not really going to go deep enough, but okay. Why? Like, you have plenty of shots. I'm really okay with the hipfire. I don't have a strong need to scope this, but so be it. You can scope it. She doesn't have anywhere she can move. Good. Better. Good.
I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty.
Tactical visor activated.
Really? The fair is right there. The Reinhardt's bubbled. The fair is ulting, and you're gonna shoot at the Reinhardt. Yes, the Reinhardt's ulting too, but let's get our priorities straight. It's the Pharah. Hey, your team got the Pharah. Good job. Good.
Bob, do something.
Okay. I understand what you want. Obviously, Bob doesn't contest. You'd have been happier to Bob from here, but you'd have been in more danger. That said, if you dropped here, thrown your Bob against the car, your Bob would have contested while still giving you crossfire. Yes, your Bob would have been vulnerable to them earlier coming from spawn, but that would have been a better Bob to the point of being worth doing. That
You
works.
picked the wrong fight.
I don't know about TNT there.
Not as young as I used to be.
They are getting on my
Send some
nerves.
codes. Silver Moira sounds good. US feel useless when playing Ash. You get better at her. I mean, she's different than some of the other heroes you've played, like Soldier and Bastion. There's a bit more reliance on Flick, a bit more on the TNT. Why do you think you can do that?
Double kill.
I don't have a need to be in front of everyone here. Like, this just seems silly. And she's already bubbled. Like, nah, I think I'll just leave. I'll just go over here, take my wide angle. I can shoot you from here. Soldier's got point. I don't need to walk forward onto point. I'm not a tank. I don't want to be in front of my team unless I'm at an angle. No, and I don't want to be stacked with my soldier. Again, I wanted an angle. And maybe I'd even consider walking through here and having eliminated this Mercy during the res. Or are you going to shift up? Like, you could also go, oh, let me just pop myself back up and work from here. Was that the plan?
Tactical visor activated.
That was definitely not the shift I wanted. Okay, this is over.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
How y'all doing?
This is an hour-long review. Yeah, I'd expect it to take about that long. It's a pretty long code.
Fire in the hole!
I don't actually love this.
Fire in the hole!
So this might feel good, like, hey, you're getting good work done, but there's 3 of you. There's 3 of you. And there's up to 6 of them. At this moment, there's 3 of them, so maybe you feel like you can get a parting shot. In truth, there's 4 of them. And 5 and 6 really are not far behind. And oh, look, even 5 is contributing a little bit. So, like, I don't want a 3v5. I don't know why you would want to 3v5. Just because your teammates are doing it doesn't mean you should be doing it. We could do the old jump off a bridge thing, you know, like, hey, just because your teammates jump off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? Well, no, not unless you know your teammates are all really smart, intelligent people. So we are looking at this and thinking, maybe I don't want this 3v6. Maybe you take a couple quick shots. You're done. You're done. You didn't immediately find an elimination while the angle was fresh. Now let's please not poke into a numbers disadvantage. You're just likely to get staggered. That's the thing. You don't necessarily know, Nardstorm. You don't necessarily know how high the bridge is, what's off of it, etc. I see. Are you going to do it just because your teammates did it or not? So you're brute forcing your way back into this. And now you have effectively brute forced your way back into this. There's no way. Really? Yeah, that's better. This was always likely to happen. Like, I know, yes, technically you're getting eliminated when you've made this fight one that it makes sense to be in, but, like, you're down on resources, you're in this situation, Tracer's had all the time to set up on you. Technically, you probably would have been better off using your shift to put you with your team where they could help you more directly. That probably was the play here. But this was always like I'm spending all this time doing this, and you were going into a 3v5, 3v6 there. Like, that. Of course she was coming for you. We hadn't seen her in ages. We hadn't got the elimination. This shouldn't really have been a surprise, but we'll do. And maybe it wasn't a surprise, but if that's the case, you needed a better plan on what your out was, which was, hey, I'm going to shift forward into my team after we got the stuff. After all, there's only one way to find out what's
Clean up
underneath.
this
That's why you
mess.
jump.
Hey,
I know that life's all about risk, Nardstorm, but it certainly plays a factor.
Reinhardt at your service.
Smoke 'em out of there.
What are you doing? This is the same problem.
Reinhardt at your service.
This is that opening elimination we're talking about, that you're allowed to go fish for a couple shots for an opening elimination, even into a numbers disadvantage, is Ashe, because Ashe has pretty high pickoff potential of the Overwatch heroes. But now we've got ourselves a 5v2. I don't want a 5v2. If they have 5 sets of eyeballs looking in our direction, and we have 2 sets of eyeballs looking in their direction, they're more likely to get eliminations than us. Yes, I know. We have better range than they do. We're better heroes for this type of fight than they are. Yes. Still 5 sets of eyeballs versus 2? I don't want it. I don't want this fight. So I'm going to spend time and go, I'll go wait over here and set up and wait for my team to be ready to push. Or I'll go over here and I'll wait for my team to be ready to push. I'm not going to take this 5v2 after they know I'm here, after they're paying attention. It's just from a pure odds perspective, doesn't make sense because they're more likely to eliminate you than you are to get another elimination on them. It's really that simple. Even if you're a little bit better than them. And you're not wildly better than them, because if you were wildly better than them, you wouldn't be at this SR with them. Right? Okay.
Smoke 'em out of there.
And if you were wildly better than them, you'd already understand that, hey, I'll just go wait up here, and then when my team shows up, I'll easily get 3 eliminations using my team as a distraction. That would be one of the things that would make you wildly better than them. I love how you say that Tracer's just feeding, and then we watch our Ashe walk up into second point against 5 people, like determined to do them one better. Looks like a decent Ashe for gold. Gold aim. Could use better positioning, maybe. I'm useless DPS, though, so take no notice of me. Well, engagement timing is an issue. Right here, positioning was an issue, but positioning was a little bit of an issue when they returned to first point. But more, it's an engagement timing issue. That's the bigger of the two right now. The aim's not a problem. Are you doing Zen soon? Someone send this man some Zen codes. I'm not seeing. I'm looking. I'm keeping my eyes peeled for Zen codes, but I'm not finding anything fresh Zen code wise.
Get ready for a shock. Get in here.
I'm definitely paying attention for it though.
Fire at will.
That's both you and Malky that I believe have asked for some Zen. Again, I don't want to stand stacked on my soldier. I want an angle. Wouldn't it be nice to be up here? Wouldn't it be nice to go, ooh, let me get up here? Now, it can be a little bit of a trick to get up here, but you can do it. I believe in you. Get up here, take your shots. Yeah, that would be way better than just standing on the same sight line as my soldier. If we're standing on the same sight line, the same cover works against both of us. If we're standing on different sight lines, oh, this cover doesn't work against me anymore because I can see over it. Or, oh, you found cover against me? Well, then maybe my soldier can see past it. Different sight lines are really powerful. You want to have angles.
Let them up. Visor activated.
That was a hopeful TNT. Like, these guys had long since cleared out. Okay, that was something. No pulse bomb or anything. Just decided to go in alone, that Tracer. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! You are still not a frontliner. You are still not a frontliner. There's not a good reason to be in front of your Reinhardt here. You probably didn't expect your Reinhardt to pull back like that, but there wasn't a good reason to be back here in the first place, and you didn't need to send your Bob in here to push up to take this fight anyway. Like, if you were looking for some mad staggers, great, but we don't need to be going, oh, let's push hard into this, let's take risks to get into this. We can punish them when they get here. Just fine. Like, just fine, we can do that. Or we could go, oh, hey, look, there's a Zarya over there. Let's eliminate the Zarya, who's separated. Or we can go, hey, I'm going to spend the time to go take this while this team is pushing, force out the Zarya, and then I'll be able to bob in at this angle when the team comes in. This is not a terribly good bob. We don't want to push in and take this fight. We're happy to farm them with our superior range for a bit, but we don't really need to push in and take this unless we soften them up a little more. They're a little soft, but if they're soft enough, we don't need our ult. How much is Soldier Superior Shield Break worth in comparing him to Ashe? Not much. Not much at all. Good, we got our high ground. Okay. Sure. Discorded Mercy was a more attractive shot than half health Ryan, but that's okay. You're gonna TNT again. It's gonna be beautiful. No, I understand what you're doing back here. Yeah, I'll live. I'll live with that decision. This is gonna be a better decision though. So, you're going to get your opening headshot, then you're going to TNT. You're going to get your opening headshot. She's going to GA towards these guys. You're going to TNT the group of 4 of them. It's going to be great. You did need to hit the shot. Didn't have to be a headshot. Did need to hit a shot. So again, you were never likely to have great shots here. It's totally okay to back off because there's pressure on you and to wait for the pressure that your team is now sending to pull them again. But you weren't likely to find much over here, and this is the second time you've gone over here looking for shots that aren't likely to be here. You're better off just going, I'm going to break line of sight, wait a second and a half, and then I'm going to reopen, and they're not going to have been able to be staring at me for 2 seconds if I'm looking to repeak when my team is a threat again. And your team is a threat right now. They even have a visor going. They have a lamp going. They have a Zen, a BAP, a Soldier, a Zarya. Like, all of these things are threatening to the other team. They will pay forward attention, and look how easy it would be for you to go, oh, I can take fresh shots again at targets that aren't paying attention to me from the back. That's great. Let's do that.
I'll take some shields. I need healing.
You don't need heals. You have 120 HP. You're not even half. And now you're trying to frontline it again. Like, oof. If you're in front of your team, you had better be on an angle. Like this. This, you were technically in front of your team. Your team was back here. You were up here. This is an angle. You'll notice I wasn't complaining in the slightest. If your team was here and you were over here, sure, that would be fine. I wouldn't be complaining. If your team was here and you were up here, I wouldn't be complaining. I am complaining when you do this, let me run in front of my team to try to get eliminations, and it's not a clear stagger phase. If it's a clear stagger phase, so be it, but that's not what these have been. You should not be finding yourself in front of your tanks unless you're on an angle. Red team center position was fine. It made their job easier. I'd have preferred to open this with a shot, not TNT. So here's how this generally works. There's exceptions. If you're going to get a big clump of people with TNT, you can potentially open with TNT. But what you're generally going to do is you're going to try to hit a shot with someone, on someone, and then they're going to try to run to cover. And then you're going to TNT, because TNT is a projectile that you've got to lead. You're going to be like, okay, maybe I tried to hit a shot or two on you. Hopefully I hit a shot or two on you. Now I'm going to TNT over here, and the TNT, well, you have to keep going towards it, because if you don't, I'm going to hit another shot on you, because you've got to get behind that cover, and then I blow up that TNT, and it explodes and gets behind the cover and still gets you. That's kind of what we're thinking about. So we don't really want to open with like TNT as our opener, unless it's just like, this is my chance to get a big glob of people with TNT and just put a lot of damage pressure. I'll get 3 people with the TNT now. Let me throw the TNT, sure. But if my TNT is for this Anna, it's sort of the follow-up. It's sort of the like, let me get the dot, let me get you burning behind cover thing, not the opener on a single person. That's fine. That's why I always ult into 1v6, always take the risk. No, we do not. Ashe and Tracer are going to try to feed equally. It may be a question of which feeds more by the end of this.
0 to 3. Switching sides.
Just play some Zen and then send Temporal the code enclosed with $23 and he'll VOD review Zen for you. That's true, Blah. That is true. Dave's Zen would be a comedy episode. It's all comedy episodes. Kind of. He can run faster. There's a reason we call him legs. That's true. They do that sometimes. Mercies with their Valks. Let me go solve a problem.
Reinhard, I must say you're looking quite well. This fight must be really.
Yeah, if they had hit Dino in that last fight, could have gotten Bob sooner and stalled cart. That is true. Sometimes you are playing for your ult. You can absolutely go, hey, I'm playing to get my ult because my ult will let me stall cart, and in that time we'll potentially find a window where we'll be able to get the next wave of respawns, which will allow us to stall this out to 0 on the clock, which is quite a bit different than 47. All that. But now we're going to look at some McCree. Any Scarfers? Hey, Bluix. Are we going to do the hoppity? Hopefully not. No. The hoppities. You've got the hoppities. What? You have 5 shots left. Just fan her. I promise. I know you won't get all the shots off. You won't get all the shots off before she ice blocks. But, like, oh well. But if she ice blocks, you'll have time to reload. That's fine. Don't push in front. Let your tanks go. Good. Angle. That's not very good.
They ain't finished yet.
Like, aha, I stunned you. But you know this stun doesn't last very long. So I'm guessing you were thinking he was going to walk into the stun, not he was going to be stunned behind cover, because stunning him behind cover is like, aha, I got you, but you didn't actually get him. You just told him he wins the duel. Like, he knows he can force the duel with you now. Don't do that. Okay. No, there's 3 of them in there. Do not lead the charge. Fine. Cover, you adjust. You're gonna push it? Eh, good. Good decision.
The payload is secure. Move it out.
Crosshair's a little low.
Heal up. Let's hustle.
Aslan?
Crosshair's okay. A little low. I know you're looking down for targets. But they're not going to show up down yet. Now they're going to show up down. Cool. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is fine. This is fine. If you want to take your opening 2 to 3 shots to see if you can force an elimination from this angle, totally fine. But you're not leaving this cover. Like, you're going 2 to 3 shots. Was I able to get my elimination? I was. Great. I wasn't. I'm tucking back behind this cover and I'm done. Because my team is not threatening these guys yet. My Zarya is the only one who's even thinking about it. My Hanzo would like to be thinking about it, but isn't. These guys aren't threatened by my team. So I'm going, hey, can I eliminate this Ashe, this Ana, this Mercy, whatever? And then I'm immediately closing the angle. And I'm not overstaying my welcome, and I'm not immediately re-peeking it until either these guys have had enough time that they're going to want to start to go in, at which point maybe I go down and I now play this angle, or my team is pushed up and is threatening this more, and then they're in this situation where they're like, aha, we're using this cover, and you go, nope, now I'm going to reopen the angle and threaten. But there is not a situation in which you go down here. Now you're like a second and a half from cover. You'd have to go back up here and over here, or you'd have to go over here. And if you go over here, you're not going to have any good outs if they decide to come push you. So, no, we're not going to do this. Okay, but you didn't get anything by getting closer. Again, no need to go down here. Play from here. Play from right here. Your team, you didn't check this, but you could have. You could have, before opening, looked to the wall and seen that your team isn't threatening yet. Reinhardt is the only one who's in their sight line. He doesn't have a ton of long-range threat. They're willing to turn and deal with you. If your whole team was like right here, maybe you would go, hey, I'm going to walk in without giving myself away and do a flash fan play. And that could be legit, but you're too early for a flash fan play right now, and that's the only reason you'd walk in. And you didn't do a flash fan play. You took your shot giving yourself away. This doesn't make sense. Why did you wander yourself a second and a half away from cover to do this?
Okay.
If your team loses the Grab Dragon fight, I'm going to blame you.
Helden sterben nicht.
I'm going to blame you.
Much better. Get eyes ready. Hold up.
Do you have a pride thing that doesn't let you fan people after you flashed them?
Feel that? Let's up
Yuck. Yuck. I like that you're trying to take an off angle. I do. This isn't really an off angle, though. They're a team, while they're aware of your team over here, like, their actual attention is this way because this angle is closed. If they were out here fighting your team, sure, this could be an off angle. But right now, this is not actually an off angle from your team. If you have to transition through here, so be it. This isn't a hyper-mobile team. You could justify transitioning across here and then trying to play from here or trying to get up here and play from here. Sure. Or you could just wait. You could have, before opening this angle, checked on your team and seen, hey, how is my team fighting? How is this going? Tried to get a better feel based on your team positions on where these guys were, and then have known, hey, if I open the angle, will they be right here? Because you'd love to high noon if they're fighting your team. If your Reinhardt was up here swinging, sure, you could high noon. That's not what is happening right now. This is lame, quite frankly. Now you hit your high noon and you might be thinking, the tank is down. You're going to get slept. You can get shot by Ashe. You can get a Sigma shield or shift up in the way. You can get damage boost on the people that are shooting you. You can get rocked. Like, this is all all not what we want. All of these people, except for the sleeping Zarya, all 4 of these people get to pay attention to you. And between 4 people, of which 3 of them are actually reasonably close to cover, they're going to find a solution for you high nooning them. It's a 4v1. They're gonna find a solution for you high nooning them. Doesn't even matter. You might think some of their cooldowns are out. Maybe they've been battling. Probably not. That backline is pretty far from the actual fight. Of course, a shield immediately goes up. And you immediately get rocked. And you almost immediately get eliminated. And then you get eliminated. Like, this was very predictable, and it's about engaging around your team's engagement timing. It really is. If you'd waited until your team was fighting more, you potentially could have done it, or you could have gone, hey, I'm going to go circle, go up here, and once my team is pushing here into these guys, I'm going to open this angle and high noon them in the back. That could have been powerful. Or I'm going to high noon them from up here while my team is actually threatening from here type thing. But not this, because this is just you versus 4 of them, because a sleep was hit. Ask for speed high noon and push together, easy clap, or ask for bubblies. I can live with that. The speed high noon, like I can live with a speed high noon where you're going, I'm going to trade high noon for a corner, but that's all you're going to get for it. You're going to high noon to get a corner. And meh. I think you can do better. I think you can do in gold, I think you can get off-angle high noons that actually get eliminations that lead to one-team fights and potentially staggers, as opposed to, or potentially one-team fights that let the rest of your team recharge their ult, as opposed to, we spend high noon, you guys back up, we take a corner, which is usually what happens with speed high noons. You were eliminated by Coconuts. Is Coconuts on the other team? Coconuts, nice, nice. But were those coconuts actually horses? Were those coconuts actually horses? Eh? Eh? Okay. Is the red and white scarf the one named engagement timing? I think the orange one was high ground. Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be. I don't think it's orange. I think it's... I mean, it's not orange. It's yellow and... It's yellow and green, excuse me. But yeah. And then we've got a green and blue one. Okay. What? Are we shooting at Anna? Okay. Shooting at Anna is fine. I'm pretty sure Claws was the Anna in the last game I just reviewed too. You guys didn't see that one. I'll upload it later, but I just reviewed it in a Winston game, and I'm pretty sure they were the Anna in that too. But it's just a common name, because that was diamond and this is gold. Okay.
Payload's ready to roll.
It's just funny that it was the Anna in both of them. So, which of these guys are you aiming at? Do you want Ashe? Do you want Anna? Okay, you want Anna. You're out of resources. Your next blink needs to take you out of the fight. Good. I mean, staying in this fight as long as you did never made sense because your team wasn't threatening. Again, engagement timing is the solution to 90% of your problems. Maybe they fell from diamond to gold. Could be. Every time I look at the screen, a new hero is chosen. That's why this is called HItscan review right now, and I haven't picked a hero. For the retitle, I'll probably pick a hero, but... You're not going to eliminate the Mercy. Take the Ashe, exactly. What? Why is that Ashe not eliminated? Sure. And now you blink through her. Blink through her. And you immediately 180. Why is this slow? This 180 is too slow. You know where she's going to be relative to you. And yes, she did move, and yes, now you're recalling. But that turn was just too slow. Like, you have to practice your turns with tracers. It has to be a fluid. You have to be able to do fluid 180s and fluid 90, like almost instantly. I just did mine too slow. You have to be able to do these basically instantly, because you need to reacquire your target faster than your target can acquire you with a blink. If you're not, your blink isn't an advantage. Well, it's a much smaller advantage.
Let's get this moving.
Okay, don't push. Your team is wiped. Don't push. The game's called Overwatch, not musical HItscan called TPS player.
Soldier 76 reporting for
Maybe.
the payload must be moved.
Competitive is not Mystery Heroes Gold DPS. Why? Your team just lost. Just spawned. Literally just spawned.
Soldier 76 reporting for duty. The payload must be moved.
Okay. Okay. You can see through walls. You can see that your team is sort of thinking about being here. You have no idea where the rest of their team is.
Time's up.
Sure.
Where were
What? No.
we? Time's up.
If you want to do the recall, so be it. If you want to do the pulse bomb recall, there's very little reason a blink wouldn't have done the job here. Like, oh, let me just blink out of it, and then, hey, we're good, and I can turn and work on the Ashe, or I can keep working on the Mercy because her movement is controlled by the existence of the pulse bomb. Either one of those is fine with me. But if I'm recalling, I'm not then spending 2 blinks while no one is looking at me to get back into the fight. You have now used your Q and gotten nothing for it, which is fine. That happens sometimes with Q. Use your recall to assist this Q that you got nothing for, and used 2 blinks to get back in after this Q that you got nothing for. Like, that is a lot of resources you just spent for nothing. And if it had been a, hey, I spent recall and pulse bomb and I just didn't get it, so be it. Much better would have been, hey, I spent pulse bomb and a single blink, but you just went wildly overboard. After you hit this recall, you just have to accept, hey, no one is shooting at me right now, so I'm just going to walk my way back in and go back to this. And I'll use blinks when people are actually aiming at me and considering shooting at me. I'm not going to use my blinks. My thing just got all floaty. I'm not going to use my blinks when I'm in no danger to try to get back into the fight. I don't need to do that.
I'm resorting to payload right there.
She could just shoot Mercy? Yeah. She could have just shot in the Mercy, but I don't have a mind with reaching for the Pulse Bomb, because they've got to learn the Pulse Bombs at some point. Like, Pulse Bomb isn't a great ult until you start getting good at it, and you've got to put in the time trying to get them, and that's fine. This Tracer skin has the best lines for Melia limbs? Okay. This happens when you're in the middle of fights.
60 seconds remaining.
This is better now that you've blinked through them. Now you're on the other side of them. I like this more. I didn't really need to engage from this side in the first place. This is less good. I recommend blinding voice blind to mouse wheel down and using eat my dust. Okay.
I shall seize the payload safely.
She calls people a tosser or wanker. Okay. When you melee them, nice.
The payload has reached the
So when you get melee eliminations. Okay, we're thinking about angles. We're thinking about engagement timing. Kind of. Kind of. The truth is you're still a tiny bit early, but I'm good with it.
Let's try that again.
Great. I don't really know that I'd be like spamming the spray and showing off for that one, because that play of the game is going to rewind and show you getting nothing done for like 4 seconds, like nothing done for 4 seconds, missing a lot of shots, being kind of ineffective with your blinks before you hit the big bang. So like the big bang is cool, but if I was you, I'd be like, please don't select that play of the game. Please don't select that play of the game. But hey, that's just me. Okay, so we don't actually want to stand on the cart with our team here. We want to figure out, hey, 3 on cart is good, 3 on cart is good. The truth is you have more than 3 on cart. Oh no, this moment you have 3 on cart. It's fine, you can be here. But what you generally be looking to do is set yourself up at an off angle so that when they walk towards cart, you then get to go, hey, I'm going to punish them going to cart. So they go to cart and you were set up like here and you're able to pop out and shoot them in the back as they're going to cart type thing. Or you're able to provide a screen where they have to just try to force their way past you. And that's actually surprisingly hard for how small Tracer is. They have to force their way past you to get to the cart, and obviously in doing so, they open themselves up to you just shooting at them. Even coaching on how to BM. Oh. Okay. And now we get Hanzo, I think. Oh no, back to McCree.
For a good fight.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Howdy. We need a moment to ensure all our equations are correct.
Make a right click. Maybe. They have the slight advantage, that 13-second lead.
Incoming. Defend objective A.
Does that mean he has to reload after every shot? I don't actually want you just stacked on your team here. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I actually want you to take over here. And if you take over here, you have more ability to go, oh, I stopped that, I stopped that. And if they try to push you through here, well, A, they're pushing into a McCree with flashbang and fan. That's kind of hard to do. But B, okay, I'll just combat roll out, and then I'm back here with my team. So, like, I actually like controlling this space a lot as McCree. Yeah. Especially if you don't have a Junkrat or someone who wants it more. And it's better than just pumping damage down the choke here. Sending just damage down the choke, that's okay, but they have their own Rhine shield and such. When you're here, you're going to find shots past the Rhine shield. It's going to compromise the Rhine shield. Do I Rhine shield this way? Do I Rhine shield this way? Do I split the difference? Okay, if you split the difference, how are you going to push forward? If you then try to push forward, now you can get shot by the McCree. If you push the McCree, now you can get shot by the core team. So we like this because this is, hey, I can do some work. I have cover. I have a health back to sustain me. If I'm doing a lot of work, I can combat roll. I can deepen the angle. If they're pushing me, I can combat roll out and just be back in the safety of my own team. Okay. So you had the right idea here of, hey, I want to off angle, but you don't actually want to push this because your team isn't pushing this. If your team was pushing this, or if these guys were pushing this, you could go, hey, I'm going to push. But I don't want to push alone when my team isn't following up. And my team's going to follow up when they're pushing or when they're getting pushed. They're going to follow up whether they want to or not. This is you pushing, unfortunately, into mostly a 1v4, 1v5 type thing because your team isn't really going to be trying to back this play up. They were thinking about this direction, and the opponents aren't pushing this direction. Yeah, you just sort of forced your own cooldowns for nothing there. Yeah, this player clearly doesn't want a fan. They've heard it's better to flash shoot someone in the head twice thing, and they're like, so that's what I'm going to do because it's the right thing. And yeah, it's technically better if you really get into the data from what I understand. Yes, you will see, and yes, conceptually it makes sense that it would be better to hit the flash than consistently just double headshot, but that's not true for the overwhelming majority of ladder. The overwhelming majority of ladder. And unlike Pulse Bomb, where I'm like, hey, you have to work on this skill to get better at it, you're naturally going to sort of just get better at aim, get better at hitting headshots, even get better at hitting close range headshots as you play more, as long as you're putting some focus on your aim. So, like, using Flash Fan all the way up to GM, even all the way up to, like, 4.2, not really hurting you. It's really not. Yes, you'd get a little bit better at this specific skill of flash headshotting people if you always did it. But in terms of its cost, in terms of how much more reliable Flash Fan is, if you have 6, 5, or sometimes even 4 bullets, depending on the target, you should be willing to use it. You really should.
10 seconds.
Left click is cringe, honestly, fan only. Okay. Good. Can we keep ourselves on the correct side of phone booth, though, for our own safety? Oh, the one ammo reload? The one-shot reload with 5 ammo in the clip. Okay. And we didn't immediately peek back out here and try to eliminate the junk while I was paying attention that way. Okay. Letting it go, fine. Sure.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
I have found.
Hello. Amplification matrix ready.
I don't think we could report him for throwing because he's not fanning enough. I don't think that's an option, Flop. I mean, you can do the report, I just don't think it's something that's supposed to be enforced. It might anyways, because stuff is automated to such a degree, but it's not supposed to be reportable. Or rather, it's not supposed to be enforced on.
It's Hanoon. Raw.
No, you had time to keep charging that. You didn't have to pull that trigger yet. You just let Mercy live. McCree flashbang with Mercy Valk beam range? Yeah, somehow I don't think so. Darkstorm. Oh, back to Tracer. Oh, we found another hit scan, guys. This is a bonus. I didn't even know this was in here.
Get ready for a shot!
Let them up.
You missed an opportunity to shoot at the Mercy by holding for that Junkrat, and I suppose you take what you're capable of, but I'd have liked the Mercy attempt.
3-5. Switching sides.
Bastion is also HItscan. Maybe we'll see one. I think what we're going to see is Hanzo, but
Initiating match. Ready for battle.
isn't shooting the tire instead of the Junkrat the right play there? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Fortunately, he did at least get the Junkrat elimination, but yeah, breaking the tire is generally going to be better because of the expected value of the tire in that situation.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Frame rate of Temporal's BC is all over the place. Yep,
I grow tired of waiting.
you are not wrong.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Here's our Hanzo.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective
No,
A.
you're good, Parody. I don't comment on everything that people do wrong. We would be here all day if I did.
Enemy contact.
Seconds remaining.
Maybe, blah. Maybe. Okay, so I still want our angles. I still do like our angles. Angles are pretty cool. If my team's pushing this way, and my Reaper's pushing this way, this sure would be great. You're Hanzo. And you just got beamed down by a Zarya. You're playing against Zarya Junkrat. They have no range. Like, their range is Icicles and Ana and Zarya right clicks. That is not very good range. You could have gone out here, like I said, popped yourself up here, and just been like, I'm going to laugh at you guys because there's nothing you can do to me. I will just step to the right, step to the left to avoid Zarya right clicks, and your Ana's so overwhelmed that she'll never get me. Like, imagine how easy it would be for you to farm this team. How easy it would have been for you to farm this team while they were dealing with your core trying to push through here. Yeah, their aim was good on their Ashe. Their engagement timing and their willingness to play in front of the team less so, but their aim was solid. That Sonic hero does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why are you frontlining? Again, you're Hanzo. You take high ground for free. You take high ground for free. Now you have a different angle than your team. It's really good to have a different angle than your team.
Object over. Almost ready. Escort the payload.
That Sonic hero makes a little more sense. You're Hanzo. You take high ground for free. For free. Oh, look. I'll just take a free Mercy elimination, a free Ana elimination. I'll force May's Ice Block. Oh, now I'll wait. Oh, Junkrat wants to mine himself up here? Okay, I'll hop out. Like, that's all we have to do. That's all we have to do right now. Please go take the off angle. Off angle. Off angle. Use the window. Use the window.
You stabbed me. Ready for a shot.
Nanobots administered.
Okay. Greetings. See through the clouds. Victory.
Okay. This will work. So, here we go. You have perfectly reasonable aim. So to actually get better at the video game we call Overwatch, in the hit scan role, because that's what you're playing, that's what you've clearly shown you want to play, even though Hanzo regularly gets played by hit scan players. We sometimes call him Hanzo Scan because he's got a very fast moving projectile that becomes an even faster moving projectile that might as well be hit scan when you're using Sonic Arrow. So you clearly want to be a hit scan player, and that's fine. So what you need to do, you are a hit scan player, what you need to do to upgrade yourself significantly is you need to understand timing. You need to engage, you need to open your angles when your team is challenging the other team or when the other team is challenging your team, because those are effectively the same thing. When the other team is credibly distracted by your team is when you want to open your angle to take shots. You can do the very occasional, hey, I'm going to open an angle, though preferably not main. It's too obvious and it's where the crosshairs are already going to rest. You can do a, hey, I'm going to open an angle and take a shot, or I'm going to open an unexpected angle and take a shot before my team is here when you're playing someone like Ash, who has a lot of pickoff power, but you only get a couple shots and then you're done. You've got to close the angle, leave, whatever the case is going to be. In general, you want to go, hey, I open the angle, I get aggressive when my team is ready to contribute. We talked a lot about this over here with McCree. We talked a lot about this throughout the video, really, where, hey, I might open this angle to shoot them in the side when my team is actually threatening here, not when most of my team is back here, if the opposing team is here. Hey, I'm not going to high noon from here when their team is here and my team is here because my team is not a credible threat to them. If my team is here and they're here, I could potentially high noon from here. It's a little different angle than my team, and they're a credible threat. I could high noon from here, and it would be amazing, and my team's a credible threat. I could high noon from here, and it would be amazing, and my team's a credible threat. I'm not going to high noon from here when there's five. It's going to cause 5 sets of eyeballs to me, and me dragging those 5 sets of eyeballs to me is not allowing my team to wipe them out instead. Like here, if they all turn around, they might eliminate you, they might sleep you, they might CC you, but your team is likely to eliminate a bunch of them in trade if you got the timing right. So timing is really, really important. Really important for you, especially on hit scan. It's really important to DPS, tanks, to everyone in Overwatch, but especially for when you're going, hey, what is my timing for opening my angle like this when I'm serious about my angle opening? That is going to be the most important thing for you to work on, your engagement timing. The second most important thing for you to work on is going to be, hey, I would like to more consistently take angles. I am not going to stack on my soldier. Stacking on my soldier is not a thing. If my soldier has a spot, I'm really thinking to myself, how do I get somewhere else? Where else can I take? Can I get myself up here? Can I get myself up over here? Can I get myself up over here? Can I get myself up over here? Even a little bit of height above him. At least it'll give you something for a different angle. So you want to take different angles. You want to take different angles. You do your different angle work. That does a lot of good things. It compromises cover, so cover that works against him might not work against you and vice versa. If you actually have angles that are split as opposed to just up, it causes, hey, if he's going like this against that direction, well, against this direction, that's not a very effective strafe because that just looks like, hey, if you're going like this, well, against this direction, you're just going forward and back. That's not an effective strafe against you if you're creating your angles appropriately. It also does more in terms of like, hey, they put the brine barrier up. It doesn't work against both, or it freezes them. So if they push forward, it stops working against both. That's good. Lots of good stuff happens when you take angles. Yes, it's a little harder to support you when you're on an angle, but you can still get harmony orbs, things like that. You as Ash are particularly good at taking vertical angles with your coach weapon. You as McCree are going to do less taking of angles because, hey, you're slow to do so. You're still going to do it, but you're going to take smaller angles. They're not going to be as vertical. When you're playing Hanzo, you're absolutely going to go take height. Height is going to be a key factor in considering your angles. When you're playing Tracer, your angles are going to be a lot more 90 degrees or more on the other team compared to where your team is, compared to when you're playing, say, Ash. So take your angles. First, get your engagement timing right. Then make sure you're more consistently taking your angles. And then, hopefully, we won't even have to get to this because it'll have been eliminated. But stop pushing ahead of your team unless you're on a different angle than your team. There shouldn't be any of this, hey, this is my team, this is my team, this is the opposing team, and I as Ash am right here, or as Hanzo am right here, or as Soldier am right here. This is not a thing that should happen. Don't do this. This only happens when you've wiped out their team and it's a rout and you're fully wiping them out as they are retreating hard in this direction. And I mean hard, like there's 5 of you and 2 of them type thing, and you're just chasing them down. It's a rout. That's the only time this should really happen. Otherwise, if you're ahead of your team, it's because you're on an angle. So you're ahead of your team, but you're on an angle, and them coming to punish you on this angle totally exposes them to your team. If they turn and fight you and punish you when you're just directly ahead of your team, well, your team can't punish them in particular because their directional defenses, their shields, their defense matrices, their strafes, their cover are all going to work just as well against your team as they are against you. When you have angles, that's not true. So that's how this works. Those are the 3 things I want you to work on. If you do these 3 things, if you do the first 2, the third shouldn't even become relevant. But if you don't perfectly do the first 2, you'll get to the third and you'll have some room to do it. So be it. That's fine. Work on those 3 things in order, one at a time. And what I want you to do is I want you to use 5 to 15% of your brain power to work on them one at a time while playing your games. So like while playing in competitive, you're thinking about, hey, I need to make sure that I'm getting my engagement timing right, that before I open a dangerous angle, I will check where my team is, check if they're threatening because I can see them through walls, and then I'll open the angle and contribute. And if they're not, I might open the angle for 2 to 3 shots, but then I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to have to wait until they're threatening, or I'm going to have to go find a new angle to open that one for 2 to 3 shots. That's what I want you to do. And the big thing there is, hey, I open my angles when my team can contribute because then I can keep them open. Or even if I don't keep them open, even if I have to go back behind cover, I only have to wait here for 1 to 2 seconds and then I can open them again because they can't just keep paying attention to me if my team is threatening them from that direction. They can't. Okay, 5 to 15%. Might take you 5 games, might take you 50 games. You're trying to work these things into your autopilot. Once it's worked into your autopilot, then you move on to the next thing. And the way you get better at Overwatch is you just keep stacking good habits into your autopilot like this. You keep upgrading very intentionally. It's not just you play more, you upgrade very intentionally in what you're working on here. Okay. If people have questions, go ahead and throw them in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. And if you're looking to see more of this, I will be going into another review, Game Busters review, right after this one. So feel free to stick around, or in the Discord, you can join, go to get notifications, react, get the watch roll, and you'll get the ping when I go live for the next one, which won't be very long from now. But first, let's handle questions. Okay. I'm confused why they've forgotten high ground as Hazo when they understood it at least at the start as Ash. Sometimes they understood it. They didn't fully understand it. Like on 3rd point defense, they just stacked with their soldier for quite a bit there. That's the reason for switching to flex all the gold weapons? Could be. Could be. Over time at the end of a match, everyone just runs directly to point, I guess. Sometimes they do. With Soldier Sprint, is he allowed to take slightly more dangerous angles? Absolutely. Is it like a middle ground between Korean and Ash? It's not a middle ground between a Korean and Ash. Ash would like to take dangerous angles. McCree would like to take dangerous angles, but they both have more trouble retreating out of them than a Soldier does. So Soldier's angles start to look like Tracer's angles. They're not, but they start to look like them. And sometimes they are, and sometimes Ash will be on a Tracer angle. Like, this stuff happens because sometimes Tracer angles get a little shallow. But Yeah, I would say Soldier generally will take more aggressive angles than both. Well, not generally, but certainly has the option to take more aggressive angles than just Ashe and McCree more regularly. Ashe will more frequently have to use vertical angles. She's perfectly happy to take forward angles, but she'll have to use vertical angles because that's where her coach weapon takes her. It boosts her up much more than it boosts her to the side, for example. Hmm. Oh, it looks like this is our person. Hillman was unable to watch due to work. Will I be able to watch later? Thanks for watching this either way. Yes, it will save at the same URL. So you'll be able to click at the URL and it'll load right up as a video for you once this is done. You could even rewind now, but it'll be at this same URL. Yes. Sad we didn't get to see Bastion and Sombra. Fair. Mm-hmm. Thank you. You're welcome. Title will probably change though. Yeah, it likely will. Is it too late to buy GME? I'm not going to get into that one. I'm not going to get into that one because I haven't seriously looked at their new model of what they're planning well enough, and that's what that would take at this point. Like, I would actually have to do the serious work of figuring out, okay, how have they planned to use this money? What are they tackling? How rich is the potential in the area that they're tackling? It's no longer with them about meme stockery, and it's actually about, okay, could they actually break into a new area that makes a lot more sense than the stuff that they used to try to do, which was the stuff that they've been trying to do was let's try and do stuff off of used games. Let's try and do stuff, or more recently, off of selling merch, collectibles, things like that, like toys and things like that, which, that was not going to be a sustainable industry for them. Like they'd been trying things or can we get one last breath of life out of consoles? So like now they actually have the money to play in other industries, and would need to more seriously look. And maybe that would be a video worth doing because I think people would just be interested, not necessarily as, again, I don't necessarily give investment advice. You can ask me investment questions and I can say, oh, that looks interesting, etc. But we have to be careful with that. But it might just be hey, people are interested in what they're doing, and I might dig a little bit and see what we can find there. Okay. Yeah, we're doing another one for GameBuster. Yep. Do you pick dark or milk chocolate? Dark. Dark chocolate is better. Take better angles. Tracer, McCree, Ashzo, and Widow. Has the drop-off nerf had a material effect on HITscan viability? It's weakened them a little, sure. Temporal, are you going to buy the dip in GPUs now? I'm actually invested how I already want to be. So I will not specifically be doing that, but I'm already invested in the way that I want to be when it comes to processors, GPUs, chips, etc. Is there a GPUs dip? What are you playing, GameBuster? I think he's going to be Moira. You always say use 5% of your brain when building a new habit. Why should the thing you're focusing on take up such little brain time? Because you actually have to play the game. And if you try to use like 40% of your brain power to be thinking about, hey, taking these angles, like you actually do have to play the game. Otherwise, you're just going to get crushed and you're going to have a terrible time. And you having the terrible time will cause you to pull the ripcord and eject and go, I don't want to do this anymore, either in terms of playing the game or in terms of working on improving. And you're going to go back to, I want to use my full brain power on tactics, playing, aim, etc. to win. So, like, you can't use 40% of the brain because you will just get farmed. Now, you might go, hey, I'm running actually all this other stuff on autopilot, so it feels like I'm using 40% of my brain power to that, but that's not actually the same thing as using 40% of your brain power. But the real answer to why I say such a small percent is I don't want you to just get farmed and quit the game, and I don't want you to just get crushed either, and I don't want like if you're just getting crushed, you're not gonna have a good time, and you'll either abandon the game or abandon working on the habit. You still need 85% to use WASD. Well, you do need to use WASD. You do need to go, hey, how am I going to use my ult? You do need to go, hey, what is, if you're working on engagement timing, you still need to be using some of your brain power to aim, some of your brain power to move, some of your brain power to figure out how and when you're going to use your ult, some of your brain power to get through the duel that you're in because a Junkrat showed up in your face, some of your brain power to track where opponents are. Like, you need to be tracking where opponents are in general. That's not strictly tied to engagement timing, though it's kind of related to it. You need to track what cooldowns are available, what health people are at, what ults are potentially coming your way in the next team fight. Do you need to combo your ult with someone? That's all still there. Okay. GPU price. The GPU market in China has seen some prices below MSRP. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, but the GPU market in China's gone below MSRP because of what China did in terms of actually making some more serious moves about banning cryptocurrency or enforcing their bans against cryptocurrency. Um, that we know why that's happened, and that's probably temporary. But yes, it is a dip. Yes, but the question is, will that mining just be taken up by people outside of China, even by Chinese actors moving their operations overseas? I want GPUs to get cheap, but Funko Pops is not a sustainable industry. I did ask an interview question, but I didn't get it answered. And I did ask an investing question, but I didn't get an answered in freebie. Yeah, I mean, investing questions are work, man. Like, they are. GME analysis. Okay, okay. Gamebuster, what are you going to be playing? Moira, DPS Moira. Uh, so if you use 40% of your brain power, you'll rage quit and go back to Minesweeper? Basically. Okay, think that's going to do it because I'm not seeing anything else there. Remember, if you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Temporal out. Maybe. Okay, we'll try that again.